Hey, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's the first episode of my show. My name is Moe. I am going to be the host. So please leave any feedback, leave any messages. But today, the guest I have on this show is going to be Quentin Crayton. He is also a real estate agent, and he is also a veteran brother of mine and served with me in the U.S. Air Force.
What's going on? Definitely happy and proud to be here, man. I feel like it's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time coming, and I appreciate you stopping by.
Yes, sir. I'm
We
ready
have a
to
lot
get
to
to
talk
it.
about. We have a lot to talk about. So let's get people, let's get them tuned in.
It's gay. Let's unpack it.
Let's go. So Quentin,
Perfect.
Originally from St. Louis, correct?
Yeah, St. Louis, Missouri, man. It's I feel like it's a lot different than Dallas for sure. A lot different tempo, a lot different types of people you come across. But I don't know. To me, St. Louis, I always consider it home. But at the same time, I'll never go back. Never go back to live. I'll always go back to visit. Don't get me wrong. I always go back to visit family. But as far as living, I'm in Dallas for the long run.
So the big differences from Dallas and St. Louis, what was the main things that you have seen so far? Because you've only been here for about a year and a half.
Yeah, which is crazy. Coming up on year and a half, coming up on 2 years now. But biggest differences, man, I would say that's a good question. But I would say definitely the infrastructure in general. It's a lot more going on in Dallas. A lot more being built. Different, even when it comes down to the style of homes, it's a lot different. But to me, the biggest difference would probably be like the people. In St. Louis, you get, obviously it depends on where you are in St. Louis, but St. Louis at the end of the day, it's a small city, so you can get anywhere super quick. So I would say the biggest difference is the people, from the attitude to the crime to just the friendliness, everything of it.
It's Southern hospitality, man. That's what we got in Texas for you.
You know what? Now that I think about it, that makes sense. Southern hospitality is real down here.
You know what's crazy? When I went to California, my wife's favorite restaurant, fast food-wise, is Del Taco, all right?
Word.
So, yeah. So there isn't any Del Tacos here. But it's like it's weird. They have tacos, burgers, everything in a way. But they're mainly known for their tacos, I guess you can say. The name is Del Taco, right?
Del Taco.
Yeah, so I'm ordering from the window. I pull up to the window. It's a young lady, right? She's probably like a teenager. And I'm saying, yes, ma'am, to her. You know what she says to me? You don't have to call me ma'am. I'm not old. I just started laughing. I said, man, I'm from Texas, and I was in the military, so I'm always going to say yes, ma'am. Or no,
exactly. That's funny you say that, man. I get something. I feel like I get similar responses to people now because a lot of times I'm the type of person, if somebody looks like they're older than me or, it's kind of like a respect to elder thing.
It's a respect thing. 100% it's a respect thing. No matter who you are, it's just respect.
Exactly. I don't care who you are. 9 times out of 10, if you're older than me or if I got to address you, if I don't know your name, it's going to be yes, ma'am, yes, sir, no, ma'am, no, sir. You know what I mean? But I've definitely had people in the past look at me like, why are you calling me sir? Or you don't have to call me sir, which obviously I know I don't have to. But to me, it's a respect thing. You know what I mean?
I used to not say yes, sir, or no, ma'am in the military sometimes for a reason. Yeah. It's like messing with people a lot in the military, bro.
Right. But that's the weird thing is, man, speaking of the military, you get the people in the military that expect to be called yes, sir, no, sir. But at the same time, just like how we're talking about how yes, sir, and no, sir is a form of respect on the outside, I would purposely not say yes, sir, no, sir to certain people.
100%.
Not to say it's a disrespect thing, but it was definitely a disrespect thing.
So you from St. Louis, right? Mm-hmm. And you joined the Air Force in what year?
August 2016, August 23rd.
And you did what, 6 years?
6 years.
6 years, man.
Crazy.
6 years. And in the one and only, the greatest job in the Air Force, I'm being very sarcastic, but security forces, right?
It was security forces, man. And looking back, you get all the people that's like, oh, my recruiter showed me this video, my recruiter showed me that video, and, it was nothing like what we expected. But
100%. I'm the same boat as you, brother.
Right.
Security forces.
And to me, I'm not going to lie to you. To me, it's not like my recruiter showed me some crazy video and was like, hey, you're going to be rappelling from helicopters doing X, Y, Z. She showed me what security forces was. And, one of the recruiters in the station was actually security forces. So he talked to me a little bit more about what it actually entailed. But at the same time, with that comes a little fluff because to a certain extent, it's almost like being a recruiter is somewhat being like a salesman.
100%. It is being a salesman.
Literally. So your job is to tell these people what they want to hear so they make the decision that you want them to make. So, yeah, man, I would say I graduated 2016 also. So June of 2016, graduated.
Young buck.
Man, not no more. I'm flirting with 30 right now.
I'm about to be 33 this year, but in December, so I got a little bit. But.
Facts. But, yeah, so after graduation and everything, obviously I'd already had my sights lined up with joining the military, but ended up leaving in August. But just to revert back to, the recruiters and everything, they didn't show me any type of foul or, I want to say false video as to what security forces would be. We being honest, they kind of gave me the backdrop on it, and I don't come from a military background. So when I think about the military and you hear about what security forces is, you just think that that's what you're going to be doing automatically. Essentially, man, I went in blind, but I knew I wanted to go in.
So the way, I mean, you did just mention saying you don't come from a military background, right?
Yeah.
So the only person in my family other than me that was in the military was my cousin Jonathan.
Okay.
But he was special forces in the Army. Yeah, so he did a lot of crazy things. But what's even crazier, which is, I don't know if it's crazier or not, but technically speaking, I never even wanted to join the military. My dad literally begged me to join the military.
Word.
Yeah, dude. I did not want to join the military. He literally dragged me to the recruiter office, sat me down, made me talk to the recruiter. The whole process on how that did play out, I was 19. I had just turned 20. Mm-hmm. But prior to my teen years, I was just fucking up, bro. Just fucking up.
It's like every teen does. Though.
Every teen, man. I was just rebellion, just being just rebellious, man. So I was just doing my own thing in a way.
Right.
But I will say this. Yeah, there was a lot of downs in the military. It wasn't, not every day was the greatest day, Mm-hmm. But in the long run, it did help me become the man I am today.
100%.
You know what I mean? It did teach me a very, very, very good thing. And the thing that it did teach me was resilience. Facts. Especially with our job.
Yeah.
Our job was security forces, guys, all right? You can probably Google it or something, but it's literally an MP. That's what it is. It's literally being a military police officer, all right? But we get shitted on every fucking day of our lives. Every day we get shitted on. Every single day we get shitted on. And there's a lot to it, man. There's a lot to it.
Right. No, I would say bottom of the barrel Air Force for sure.
It is bottom of the barrel Air Force. We're technically infantry of the Air Force. That's what we were.
Right.
You said you went through the Air Force in 2016?
Yeah, 2016.
And after basic, where'd you go? Well, first of all, basic for any security or basic training for all Air Force is going to be in San Antonio. It's in Lackland Air Force Base, all right? And if you're doing security forces specifically, you are going to stay at Lackland for probably additional 2.5 months until you get to your duty station doing the whole security forces training academy and all that. Yep. What was your first base?
My first base was Edwards. So
that's in
California.
California, in the middle of nowhere. That's
Mojave,
right. Middle
straight
of nowhere.
Up desert.
Yeah.
Straight up, look, zoom it, middle of nowhere. I promise you. So, man, it's weird too because you talk about basic training and security forces in tech school and everything. So I was actually in BMT. I was in the 383rd.
Okay.
Which is, they called it Alcatraz, the super old squadron. And then literally as soon as I graduated, we packed up, walked right across the street to the 386 at Firehouse.
Yeah, I was at the 320th. That was my roll, Gator, roll.
Yeah,
that was our motto, bro.
So you had what did they call that, Disneyland, didn't they?
That was no Disneyland, man. It was no Disneyland, man. I don't know. They said there was. I don't know how it was with the 383rd, but I guess the 320th was only for security forces mainly, and a lot of special forces, like special operators. Like if you're going TAC P, if you're going PJ, things like that. So
so you were with like the battlefield airmen.
Yeah, I was with the battlefield airmen in basic.
Okay, the trenches.
Basic. The trenches.
Thought I was in the
straight
trenches.
I'm talking about no Little Dirk trenches. I'm talking about the real trenches. Boy.
Right. No, I mean that's funny though, because I can only imagine. I know the people I went to BMT with. Man, we talk about the military. That's lifelong relationships for sure. And I remember some of the funniest times being in BMT. And you talk. Everybody likes to. I'm gonna say it. Everybody likes to shit on the Air Force, right? But when it comes to actual like basic training and everything, I could see why, because to me it just seemed like a summer camp. Like I literally,
it was a summer camp.
I had fun in boot camp.
I mean, I won't say I had fun. Say I had fun, but it was definitely an experience.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't used to people yelling in my face constantly, consistently.
No, that's true. That's true.
I guess, and the thing I'll never forget about basic training, bro, is how fast we'd have to eat.
Man, looking back.
Oh man, bro.
I don't looking back. I don't know if I always ate like this, or if that's just if that's something that comes from BMT. No, having to eat fast, having to shower fast, having to just how can just unrealistic timelines? Waking up with 60 other men, having to take a shower, brush your teeth, get ready, be in formation, be downstairs within 5-7 minutes. Like, come on now.
We had a fight club in my in my basic training, bro.
Listen, man,
we had a fight club. If anyone had a problem with anybody, the second the pretty much our MTI would leave. MTI stands for military training instructor, is like a drill sergeant. All right. So anytime he would leave, we just go to the restroom, and whoever needed to squab up, they'd squab up.
Word.
Yeah, but it was mainly BJJ. It wasn't like punching in the face and stuff. It was like submissions and all that.
Which makes sense. But so what year did you join then? I hate to try to turn the table and make it seem like I'm podcasting, but because after a certain period, I want to say like 2012, 13, whatever the year was.
So I have a story about that because I know exactly what you were going to transition to, and it was going to be the sex scandal.
Yeah.
Okay, hear this shit out, bro. So I joined in 2012, right? I went in June 10th of 2012, all right? I got there June 12th, 2012. Long story short, maybe a week or two later, the sex scandal hit the news and all that. My drill sergeant pretty much comes in and he pretty much tells us straight up, call your parents and tell them you're not getting fucked. That was the exact words that he would tell us. So guess what I did, bro? I called my mom and my dad. They're just so happy to hear from me.
Right.
And he's like, tell them you're not getting fucked. And I guess, I don't know. I really thought he wanted me to say that we're not getting fucked. So I was like, Mom and Dad, I'm doing good. I love you guys. I just wanted to call and let you guys know I'm not getting fucked.
I'm still tight.
My dad was like, what?
Because on the outside, they had no idea what was going on.
Well, I don't even think, because, I come from a Middle Eastern family, right? So the TV that they watch is not the news that they watch in America. They're always watching Arabic news, like things that's happened in the Middle East type stuff. So I don't even think they even knew that there was a sex scandal happening at that time.
Right.
So they had no idea. So when I'm calling my dad, I'm over here telling him, hey, Dad, I'm not getting fucked. He just didn't know what the fuck to say.
Like, what is this dude talking about?
He was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
I'm not getting fucked. He was like, give me the phone. He goes, what the fuck you mean you're not getting fucked? I was like, yeah, he told me to tell you I'm not getting fucked. And I was like, hey, I gotta go.
Right. Yeah, 2 minutes. Hang up.
Yeah, I hung up the phone, bro.
So it's crazy you bring that up too, because you probably just open up a whole different door to another conversation. Because I've never actually talked to somebody directly that was in during that phase.
I was in when it happened.
Right. I bring all that up, or I asked about the timeline because I know you said y'all were getting away with like fighting and stuff in the dorms.
Yeah.
And I'm not the type, man, I don't hold any type of grudges or anything, but I low-key kind of wish if I were to be able to go back and, kind of do boot camp or anything like that over again, everybody can probably say this, but there's always that select 2, 3, 4 people that's like just makes everybody else's life way harder than what it was. They probably deserve to be put in their place. You know what I mean? So
100%.
But yeah, to me, it was no fighting or nothing like that. At least in my flight, my squadron that I know of, at least. But must be nice.
So after basic, you went to Edwards, right?
Yes.
And I remember I landed at Edwards one time because we were doing a training exercise with the special operators at that time. I'm not a special operator, but y'all gonna hear me talk a lot about special operators because the main reason was when I was stationed in Khanversations Air Force Base, my first duty station, I was a Dagger. Dagger's gonna be that symbol right there. I don't know, Daniel, if you want to get it on camera. Stands for Deployed Aircraft Ground Response Element. What pretty much what that was is they called it an air commando. I wasn't a commando though, but it was very extensive training. I did about 2 to 3 months of extensive training. We got our ass kicked every fucking day. Our last week of this training and Dagger training, the last week, no sleep at all. Maybe had the max in the whole entire week, 2 to 4 hours of sleep. I remember, and we're setting up a DFP. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So DFP, you're setting up like a little barrier type thing to defend the fort or whatever the base that you're at, making sure that everything's okay and all that. And bro, I'm telling you, I had no sleep, right? Like no sleep at all that week. I could have sworn on everything I love, bro, that the instructor, one of the Dagger instructors, came out of nowhere through the bush in front of me and told me to wake my punk ass up. I was hallucinating.
Oh, word.
Yeah, I started hallucinating.
Oh, because no sleep.
No sleep. And what's crazier, like the craziest thing about it is the last day of this exercise, mind you, no sleep. It lasted from 6 in the morning. Yeah, from 6 in the morning till 6 the next morning. And we finished it off, full battle gear, full everything, 17 to 18 mile ruck. So imagine how we felt. So yeah, in a way, I was more advanced than the regular security forces member. I did do a lot more training. I did go to 3 defensive driving schools. It's not the defensive driving that you think of. It was literally you getting in a car, doing all these maneuvers, these pit maneuvers, going off-roading, slaloming, whatever that word is. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it was cool training. So I was saying I did land in Edwards, and we were doing a field training exercise at that time. But I remember when I landed at Edwards, because I was like, man, I wish I was stationed in California. There was nothing there. I thought Khanversations Air Force Base had nothing there.
Yeah.
Right? No, fuck no. Compared to Edwards, nothing there. I remember we landed on the base, all I saw was a NASA building. And I remember, you talked about this a while back, but you told me no one was allowed in this NASA building, right?
Nowhere near the vicinity of that building. They had their own, they had their own security.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as far as being stationed at Edwards, looking back, I mean, there's probably a few things I can say for it, but for the most part, the base itself, I didn't care for at all. I mean, you get to it's in the Mojave Desert, so you get to the Welcome to Edwards Air Force Base sign, lake beds on both sides. It's about a 10 and 12 mile straight up strip until you get to the gate. Once you get to the gate, you got another 5-10 minute drive until you get to the dorm. So for somebody to be stationed there as their first base,
horrible.
I feel like, yeah, it's horrible. It's not really ideal. It's not really a mission there, right? The mission is a flight test center. So NASA, they got their secret squirrel. They do whatever they want up there. And it's like for you to just go in, learn the best, learn the most you can learn, and then hopefully that, you know, hope and pray that you get orders out, which actually ended up being a funny story. So I got there February of 17. February 17, I got there. I got on flight probably about March, April of that year. When I'm on flight, man, it's like, when I came in, I told you I'm not from a military background. So, like, I joined. I'm like, man, I love this. Like, I'm going to do 20 years, this and that. And, like, man, me as a little E1, E2 coming in talking about I'm going to do 20 years. Everybody's like, okay, just wait till it catches up to you. Just wait till it catches up. But, like, back then I wasn't really trying to hear that, right? And I remember the biggest thing for me is that I really wanted to deploy. I'm like, yo, I need a deployment. I want to deploy. And I remember being at the gate one time, man. I'll never forget his name. Was a senior airman, or at the time he was a senior airman. I'm not sure if he's still in now. But Christian Bullard, I was at the gate. I'm like, he a cool dude, but I remember I was at the gate. I was like, man, I'm going to catch a deployment. I'm going to do this. And he was like, man, if you want to deploy so bad, just email the UDM, see if you can get on deployment. And like me not knowing, being that low ranking, I didn't know that was a fucking stupid decision to make. You know what I mean? But at work that day, I emailed them like, hey, sir, can I deploy? Send. Nothing ended up coming from it for a few months. Come to find, that was in like March, April time frame. Come to find out, August of that same year, I had just put in orders to go on leave. Leave got approved. 2 hours later, they hit me. They were like, you can't go on leave. You about to deploy.
Where'd you deploy for your first
Jordan.
deployment? Jordan? Hey, that's where I'm from, baby.
Yeah.
Did you like
Jordan,
it?
I loved it, man. I loved it. So I think I loved it for a few different reasons. I think, obviously, one, being my first deployment, I was 19 years old, the youngest one on deployment. I think, you know, the people that really took care of each other. So that was something that's cool. And then also outside of that, once things started to, like, you know, quote unquote die down, or once things became, you know, available for us to actually go out and enjoy the city, it was about to be time for us to leave. But I still did get to go out and enjoy Petra. So for me
Petra's beautiful, bro.
Man, for me to be able to go on deployment and then at the end catch a trip like that and say I've been to one of the seven wonders of the world, it was a blessing for sure.
It's crazy how the Petra is. I don't know how the hell they built that shit back in the day.
It looked like, I thought, I mean, if you look at pictures, you're like, it's no way this stuff is real. But then you go and you see how detailed and how, like, it's actually carved by, like, it's man-made.
Did you walk through it, or did you get on a horse and go through it with the camels and all that?
So we walked the entire thing. I got on the camel at certain points just to say I got on the camel. But other than that, I mean, you know how it is. And my people everywhere trying to, with donkeys, trying to have you get on the donkey, people trying to upsell everything. So I think the experience itself was cool, man. I think I definitely want to go back before.
Me too. That's the thing. Because the last time I went to the Petra, I was 12 years old.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but I'll never forget the scene of it, because I remember I was complaining the whole time. I was a kid, 12 years old. I don't want to go to the Petra. I don't want to go to the Petra, you know? I was like, shut up, we're going. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to walk it. It was like about a 2 mile walk, I think. It wasn't even that serious of a walk. And I didn't want to walk. I was just being a spoiled little kid, bro, you know? And then I remember walking, and then just because it was like the Rose Rock. It was like the Rose Mountains or whatever it was. The walls are pretty much, it's like red rocks. And then when you're walking through the tunnel, or not the tunnel, like the alleyway, whatever it is, it's crazy, man. I'll never forget the scene. Like, as I saw the Petra coming up close, it felt like, it was like an exhilarating feeling. Yeah. It was like, wow. Like,
even just walking up to it, taking that route, you talking about with mountains on both sides? Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's really like, the best word is breathtaking. It's literally what it is. It is. But you're gonna have to throw up a picture or something so people can see.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it.
I know, or it don't have to be right now, just sometime, whenever. But I know, like, for me, I didn't even know what Petra was before I went to Jordan. And that could be just me being an idiot, or me just not knowing.
So Petra was an ancient city back in the day.
Right.
That's the whole thing. And that the Petra of Jordan, I think that was their official downtown area right over there.
Okay.
Now, how they built it, I have no idea. Just like the people say with the pyramids, aliens came down and built it. But it's crazy when you did go see the Petra and how dimensional it looked in person. You know, the circles on the top of the Petra. You know what I'm talking about? Like, dude, it's crazy how smooth they looked even after thousands of years, especially now.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a crazy experience.
It is. It's almost like, man, like somebody's got to be maintaining or upkeeping this. Or like somebody got to come in at night and you know, perfect everything, because there's no way you build that. How long ago was that?
Man, I don't even know.
Yeah, no one probably knows.
I have no idea.
But it looks like it's just perfect, breathtaking. That's it.
When you were in Jordan, did you also go to the desert? What's it called? Wadi Rum?
No,
you didn't go. Well, that's a place where you can go. It's kind of close to the Petra. It's like you can go ATVing and all that.
Okay.
You go up through these sand dunes and everything, and then they have like you can camp there. It's like in these Bedouin tents and all that, and they have like a huge dinner. hookah, music, all that. That was also pretty dope to see too at the time.
So I wasn't able to check that out, but I know for sure I would want to go back because they got the Dead Sea and everything.
Dead Sea.
There.
I've also been to the Dead Sea. I've also been to the Red Sea. I mean, it's
yeah.
my country. I've been everywhere in Jordan,
But no, it's definitely things on there I would have liked to done more of. But like I said, at the time, it's for a certain period of that deployment, we were on lockdown and couldn't really leave the base. So
how long were you on a deployment for in Jordan? How many months?
I'm good with dates, man. So October 1st, 2017 to April 23rd, 2018, we flew out. So was that 6-7 months?
No. Well, you said October
1st.
Yeah, about 6 months.
Yeah, about maybe, yeah.
Never deployed to Jordan. I was actually about to get deployed to Jordan, and it got canceled, dude. I was pissed. I wanted to go to Jordan. I haven't been to Jordan since I was the last time I went. I was 17. I'm 32 now.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's been a while. Actually, no, I was 16 turning 17, so it's been a while. It's been literally 16 years since I've been back in Jordan.
So you still got family and everything down there?
I have a lot of family in Jordan.
Okay.
A lot of family.
I didn't know you were Jordanian, bro.
Yeah, I'm Jordanian. I mean, my last name is Khan. People think I'm Pakistani, but long story. It's a very long story, actually. But my grandfather is from Pakistan.
Okay.
Then he moved to Jordan. He met my grandma. Long story short, now everyone's here. so that's the whole thing to it. Well, my grandma's Turkish.
Really?
My grandma's Turkish. My grandma, is Turkish from my dad's side. She's half Turkish, half Jordanian. My grandpa from my dad's side is Pakistani. My dad and his whole family was pretty much raised in Jordan. My mom is from straight born blood Jordanian.
Okay. Damn. But yeah, man. So called a deployment there. Ended up coming back, like I said, late April of 2018, and then May. I want to say it was like May 6th or 7th. Notice how earlier I was like, if you're lucky enough to make it out of Edwards, right?
You got orders to Korea, huh?
Man, I got orders to Korea May of 2018 to report in March of 2019. So damn near a year in advance. So it was weird too because I'm like, man, in my career, or at the time I'm like, man, I'm working at Edwards. I'm talking to all these people. Some people been here 10 years, 15. Some people been here a whole career.
That's how Khanversations Airforce base was.
So I'm like, of all people, I'm the lucky one to get orders, catch a deployment 5 months into this base, and then catch orders as soon as I get back. You know what I mean?
When I tell you, I couldn't wait to get the fuck out of Clovis, New Mexico, man. I could not wait. You know what's fucked up? Well, not fucked up. You know, of course they wanted to keep me in. Of course they want to keep you in. You know, but I was about to get out. I'm signing the paperwork to out process. They threw orders at me to go to Korea. And I was going to deny the orders. And my supervisor was like, hey, Khan, let me come talk to you real quick. He goes, brother, trust me. He goes, trust me. He said, trust me, man.
For sure.
He said, I promise you. He said, the Air Force is not only Cannon Air Force Base. He was like, I promise you, go to Korea. John DeYoung, I know you're going to watch this. I appreciate you having this talk with me because, honestly, that was one of the best advice I've got while I was in the military was
go to Korea.
Just suck it up for that 1 year and go to Korea. Korea was honestly one of the best experiences I ever had in my entire life. I was there for a full year. You know what I mean? I met so many good people. I was a wild motherfucker in Korea, though. I was a crazy motherfucker in Korea.
Hey, if you know, you know. Everybody was.
I was just wild. It was my last year, so I literally gave no fucks about anything when I was in Korea. Everyone would come up to me. Everyone looked at me like I'm the ringleader to do something crazy at that time I was in Korea, bro. I mean, like you said, you heard stories about me in Korea.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to mention any of these stories. Yeah. You heard stories about me.
Wait, they say what happens in Korea stays in Korea.
That is a big fact.
Come on now.
Big fact. You know what I tell people here, man?
What?
I tell them that the fried chicken in Korea is the best thing that you will have in your life.
Man, that's crazy you bring that up too, because everybody, I'll tell people where I've been, they'll be like, oh, where was the best food? The best food. Even outside of the chicken, man, Korea, and I want to put emphasis on this, that camera, Korea has the best food on earth.
100%.
They fry chicken better than black people.
100%. I'm from the South, so I've had a lot of black people fry me some chicken. I'm not even trying to be racist or anything.
Yeah.
But yes, they definitely know how to make some chicken in South Korea.
Come on now.
They have like hundreds of flavors you can choose from in regards to their fried chicken, bro.
And I don't even know if it's like fried times 2. It's not normal fried chicken. It's got to be.
Do you remember Tiba right off base?
Do I?
Did you ever go to
Tiba's? Yes. Yeah. Every 1, 2 a.m. It don't matter what time it was. I was stopping there or the kebab shop before I went home.
That was my spot to go, man. Tiba's was my spot to go after a long night of Korea.
I'm about to cry. My mouth watering right now.
What, thinking about Tiba's?
Yeah,
it was some good food. In Korea, what was your most like memorable experience in Korea for you? What do you think?
Man, why you gotta ask me this? Well, most memorable experience One thing, before I answer that, one thing I would say is that I regret not traveling to Vietnam, Bali, Indonesia, Thailand.
You didn't go to Thailand?
I didn't, bro. For my mid tour, I went. So my nephew was born that year. So for my mid tour, I went home.
I get it.
For sure, grateful was able to see him be born and everything. So my biggest regret is not being able to travel to one of those countries while I was over there. But as far as like one of my biggest memories, I don't know, man. I really wish I could answer that question, or I wish I came prepared, because as you know, a lot of Korea was kind of brown or black.
It was a blur.
Yeah, it was a blur. That year, it was probably the fastest year of my life. But I would say overall, if I had to group it all into one thing, I would say just have an opportunity to meet lifelong friends, right? Like obviously that's where we met. A lot more of my homeboys I met there, but it's like you build those relationships because everybody's gonna be doing the same thing 9 times out of 10. No matter what day of the week it is, you always got somebody to kick it with. You always gonna be doing something. It's always somebody dorm to go to, some bar to go to, some new food place to go try. So I would say just the overall experience of Korea was probably my favorite part.
Now you saying lifelong relationships. One of the main reasons why I brought you here on this show. All right. Do you remember the talk that we had at the Armory
Before you got out?
before I got out?
I do.
I remember turning in my weapon. I mean, I've talked to you. You know, we were cool. You know, we hung out every now and then. We were just off different days. You know, but we hung out around the same people. I remember turning in my weapon, and you go, "Hey, Khan, I heard you're getting out." I said, "Yeah, bro, 100% I'm getting out." And then you asked me right after that, "Are you scared?" And I said, "I'm not scared." I said, "I'm ready for the unknown. I'm ready for the unknown." And then the last thing you went back and you were like, "Well, I'm planning on getting out, bro. I'm trying to be a realtor. I'm gonna move to Dallas. You know, when I get out, I'm gonna do it."
Right.
I was like, "Hell yeah, bro. When you get to fucking Dallas, you better make sure you hit me up." All right. And then that stuck to me, bro, because everyone around me was like, "You're not gonna get the fuck out.
Right.
You're not getting the fuck out. What are you gonna do? You know, you don't know anything else to do." And, you know, one of the best decisions in my life, man, and I thank God for it every day, is getting out the military.
100%.
I put my grind at a whole different level. It made me realize exactly what I need to do. I think with the military, you know, telling us always about resiliency and all that, it really did push me an extra mile to get to where I am today. You know, I'm not shit right now. I'm not shit. But compared to who I was, it's a total night and day difference. I have a friend that comes by. His name is Josh. We call him Jigga, right?
Okay.
He came and visited my house. Finally came by because he was living in Arizona. He moved back here. He comes in and he was like, "Man, bro." He goes, "This is the same Moe Khan. The same Moe Khan that used to sleep on a couch."
Man.
Bro, I slept on my parents' couch from when I was like 12 years old till I left the military. Never had my own room until I went in the military.
Right.
Yeah, so I lived in the same apartment, bro. The same apartment for 20 years before I went into the military.
Right.
So I mean, yeah. So I mean, it did help. But I knew exactly what I needed to do. You know. So
Right.
I mean, it was. And the thing is, it probably comes back down to being a dagger as well too. It just always keep on pushing, keep on going. Don't give up. Always look for the better, or just keep on pushing. You know.
Yeah. No other route.
No other route.
I feel that. But no, to answer you, I definitely remember that question, man. I feel like this is a topic you just opened up, which is another one I could probably sit here and talk about for another hour, but I won't make it too long. But what I will say is that, like I said, I do remember that conversation, and I do respect you for everything you've done. Because if you look at it now, man, it's 2024. That conversation, I got to Korea in 2019. So that conversation was in probably around August, September 2019?
No,
somewhere around there?
I was gone in August. I was gone in July.
So somewhere in 2019, that conversation
I think it was
happened.
like around March of 2019.
Okay. So just to think that conversation happened that long ago, and now we both doing what we said we would do, right? I think it's crazy, but at the same time, I think it comes with the fact that we weren't scared to take a risk.
I've never been scared to take a risk.
Never. And I think the biggest thing is, and one thing I really want to touch on too, and I know we both got veteran friends, we both got a lot of mutual friends, but one thing I will say, man, is that if you ever considering getting out, or, you know, you having second thoughts about the military, never re-enlist or extend just because you feel like that's your only option. If there's anything you want to do in life, I say go get out and go do it, right? Or at least try it, because I can't speak for everybody, but what I can say is I would feel a lot better about myself knowing that I got out, took the risk, and tried to pursue and do the things that I know I wanted to do, versus staying in another 10, 20, 30 years whenever you want to retire, and then getting out when you're 40 years old and being like, you know what? I wish I would have tried this in my 20s. I wish I would have tried this in my 30s. You know what I mean? So not to say everybody lives with regret, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people in the military try to project that energy onto other people, because at the end of the day, they were the ones scared to get out and take the risk. You know what I mean?
You know, I respect anyone that does 20 years. You know,
100%.
That's a lot of shit you got to fucking deal with for 20 fucking years, especially as a security forces member. Dealing 20 years with all that fucking bullshit.
That's
you know
damn near
exactly
40.
what bullshit I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right? You know exactly what I'm talking about. I couldn't handle the bullshit no more.
Right.
Like, I'm not a pawn. You know, I'm not a fucking pawn. Like, I just couldn't handle it no more. I mean, I'm not a chess piece. That's how I saw it.
Yep.
You know, I'm not a chess piece. You know, the Air Force used me and they gained something from me, and I used the Air Force and I gained something from the Air Force. I mean, it was a mutual agreement at that point to get out.
Yep.
I did my 6 years. All right, I'm done. You know, thank you for everything. Yeah, man. So that was that pretty much. That was the end of my Air Force career. I ended it off with being stationed in Korea.
Right.
I came back to Fort Worth August. Well, I technically separated from the Air Force officially in August, but I went on leave. So I was back July 23rd, and by July 27th, I was working at a car dealership. I called my boy Fadi. He was working at Alfa Romeo at the time. And then I was there for about a month and a half. And my sister at the time, she was working at Porsche Dallas.
Okay.
And she had the connections to get me over at Mercedes. And ever since then, of August 2019 till now, I've been selling cars for Mercedes-Benz.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a good ride, man. It's been a good ride, but you're a realtor, you know, now. Sales is a crazy game.
A different world.
It's a different world when it comes to sales. But I will say that not everyone is built for sales. You know how many people I've seen in and out the dealership, leaving left and right?
Yeah.
You know, I was considering quitting when I first started, too. Because I was like, man, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
You know, yada, yada, yada. I don't have time. I don't have this. The reason why I got the military because I wanted freedom of time and all this. But, you know, the good thing about it is I did find a better work-life balance. That's all what it does come down to. By the way, selling cars, if y'all don't know, selling cars is a very lucrative industry. You can literally make $100,000, $200,000. I know someone that makes $300,000 in a year, you know, just off selling cars. So thank God I know what I'm doing, and I do have a good clientele. You know, sometimes it gets rough. The issue with me, though, is when I'm hot, I'm hot. Like, I don't stop selling. It's boom, 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 boom. Left and right, sales, 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 right?
Right.
But I'm like crypto. I'm hot, and then I go fucking cold, bro.
You cold,
like,
you cold.
Fucking, when I'm cold, I'm cold. There is no warm. You know, I'm either hot or cold.
Okay.
Hot or cold. But the good months 100% make up for the bad months, and I will say that.
That's all that matters.
Quick question to you, Quentin. I know now you're a realtor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this, because someone told me a real estate agent and a realtor is not the same thing.
Yeah, it's a difference. So essentially, a real estate agent is a real estate agent, and then a realtor is a member of the NAR, the National Association of Realtors. So once you become a member of that, that's when you consider a realtor. But essentially, a real estate agent, a realtor.
What motivated you to become a real estate agent?
It's a good question, man. So it goes back to me, you know, not to go back too far, but, you know, we were just talking about Korea and everything. So after Korea, I actually ended up I got orders to Ramstein Air Base, one of, if not the busiest, base in pretty much all of overseas. So ended up going there, was still on the route to, you know, I wanted to stay in, but long story short, made rank there, ended up, you know, being exposed to a different side of security forces. And then I just saw how political things became.
I was going to say, Ramstein is a very, very political base.
Very political, like 100%. Emphasis on very political. I know. So, yeah, man, just was there for about 2.5 years. And then I would say my year and a half mark, to be honest, I was at the point where I was like, you know what, I want nothing else to do with the Air Force. Because at that point, made the rank I said I wanted to make, always said I wanted to deploy, always said I wanted to be stationed overseas. I checked all 3 of those boxes off within 4 or 5 years. So at that point, it came down to what I really wanted to do. You know what I mean? So to answer your original question, why real estate? I would say, man, essentially it came down to me. That was something I always had interest in.
Yeah.
I know my dad's an investor back in St. Louis. You know, we would always talk numbers, talk about, you know, what he was doing with real estate, what he was doing with his money, and, you know, the outcome he got from the money that he put into real estate. So I started to think about it, and I'm like, man, that would be a cool route to take. But at the end of the day, you can't just get out and go to being an investor, right? So I thought about it more, and I'm like, all right, well, why not be a real estate agent? The question became, why not? Understood the grind that came with it. At least I thought I did from watching podcasts and watching other realtors and everything. But it's something you truly don't know the hustle of until you get your feet wet. You start to do it. So, I would say that's why I really wanted to get in. You know, in the long term, investing in real estate is something I really want to do. But I think to me, it's nothing better than being able, and not to sound cliche at all, this is like my actual answer. I feel like it's nothing better than seeing the satisfaction on people's faces when you can see that you actually helped them into a home.
100%.
Whether that's a house, whether that's an apartment, whatever the case may be. So if you think about it, arguably three of the biggest moments in somebody's life: buying a house, having a kid, getting married. I'm not going to marry everybody. I'm not going to have a kid with just anybody.
Yeah.
I can help any and everybody. I can help any and everybody get into a home. So for me, I'm like, if I can touch, that aspect, if I can touch someone in that way, then to me, that's way more rewarding than any type of paycheck. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the money, it's not about the money at all, because at the end of the day, if you're going to do the job, it's definitely about the money. But at the end of the day, what trumps the money to me is the fact that I know I help somebody get into something that they sometimes possibly didn't even think they would be able to get into.
I respect that, man. I do
100%.
respect that. So you came to Dallas about a year and a half ago now, right?
Yep. Separated August 22, came down here August 23rd.
Dude, I remember your first week or 2 weeks you stopped by over here. Remember that?
Man, it seemed like forever ago now. But, I mean, even then, back from whenever I did stop through here, and I remember talking to your cousin, friend, or whatever that was a realtor at the time, man, I feel like I was so overwhelmed. I'm like, man, I'm in a new city, don't really have anybody here, have no idea what I'm doing in real estate. So to see it go from that to, I'm starting to take the training wheels off. You see a little bit more, just real estate. I can't really speak on the car industry, but real estate, the more work you put in, the more work, the more it starts to make sense.
Well, of course, that's. I feel like that's with any career field. You know what I mean? Especially, sales is sales at the end of the day. The grind is the grind. You know what I'm saying? If you're not don't expect to get a sales job and just to sit on your ass and just wait for the business to come, because that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in sales. I will say that right now. Now let me ask you this, Quentin. When you first started real estate, when you first got to your broker, right? You seen all these people around you make some money, right? You have one of the top. You have one of the top producers in Dallas. That's a realtor, right?
A few top producers.
What was his name? I see him on Instagram all the time. Leston. You
got Leston. You got Bridget. You got Ben Wegman. J.P. Finley. Rogers himself. You got some big names.
So them being around you, did that motivate you at all? Did that open your eyes to like, wow, this is what this industry can do for me and my family?
Every single day. And that's a good question too, man, because I feel like at the end of the day, not to say any names, but I'll talk to realtors and talk to people, I know, or just come across in the office, and they'll be like, man, I can't follow this person because they do XYZ, or I can't stand this person because of XYZ. And to me, personally, at the end of the day, it comes down to two things. If you are surrounded by, or if you see other people around you doing better, you can either take it as envy and you can hate them, and you can just look for every single reason to pick at what they're doing wrong and what you don't like about them, or you can take it, use it as motivation, and see yourself in that same position, if not better. So to me, it's the same position, man. I feel like, yeah, all these people have done it X amount of years longer. They might have better connections, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, if I'm willing to put in the work, which I am, and, I'm willing to stay the course, which I am, then to me, I don't see any difference between me and them. The only difference, if anything, is that they've been doing it longer.
Yeah, they've been doing it for a while then,
yeah.
Huh?
So, that to me, that's just what it comes down with. It definitely lights a fire under my ass, because at the end of the day, I'm a competitive person, whether it's sports, fucking tic-tac-toe. I don't care what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
me
a
too,
competitive
man. I'm
person.
very
You know what I mean?
too. I am very, very competitive.
And don't get me wrong, I love seeing people win, right? I love seeing people win, but at the end of the day, no one likes seeing other people win more than themselves.
100%, yeah.
So while I definitely, wish and, I want to see everybody succeed, I think I'm just as likely, or I think I'm just as qualified to be in the same position they are, as long as I stay the course and put the work in.
Yeah, I respect that, man. I do respect that. Let me ask you this, man. So since you've been a realtor, based on market trends in this past year and a half, I know the market for housing has been going crazy, right?
Yeah.
Everything now is starting to go back. It's starting to correct itself.
Yeah,
to
normal.
To a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to the people that have bought homes when the price was high, when everything was inflated, pretty much, are they in a hole right now?
So being in a hole is one thing. You can say it depends on how you look at it, because you can look at it and say they're in the hole, but at the same time, it's almost kind of, I don't want to say impossible to judge the market, but you never really know what's going to happen, because they could come in and, overpay for something. But with us being in the DFW Metroplex, you got to look at the stats, right?
That's
so many different people, corporations, businesses moving to Dallas, to where real estate is going to appreciate at a faster rate than it will in somewhere like Montana or something like that. You know what I mean?
My house, I bought it in 2020, peak of the pandemic, perfect time. If I was to sell it today, oh man,
probably get double the amount. And that's what I'm saying, right? So what we consider high right now, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, they could get time and a half or 2 times, the amount of money that they paid for their house at the time. So I wouldn't say you're necessarily in the hole right now. That could be the case, but at the end of the day, buy real estate and wait.
It's never a bad option to buy real estate.
Never.
Never. Especially if you can buy it cash. By the way, Quentin did help my mother-in-law buy 2 homes in a matter of a month and a half?
Yeah, about a month.
Yeah.
Shout out Tammy.
Shout out Tammy.
She's
an awesome mother-in-law and awesome grandma. She's
amazing person.
She's an amazing, nice person. I love you. Thank you for everything that you do for my son. We appreciate it all. But yeah, so he helped my mother-in-law buy 2 homes.
2 houses.
2 houses. And matter of fact, she's about to rent that one out in Arlington.
Yeah.
The one that she bought in Arlington. We just got to renovate it a little bit. We're going to take off the popcorn ceiling because it's an older home.
Yeah, I remember she told me she hated that.
Yeah, but 100% we do appreciate that, man.
Of course, man.
I always told you, though, if I have business, especially on the real estate side, I'm always going to come to you.
Always had, bro. And I definitely, that's one thing I appreciate you for more than you probably ever know. Like, words can't really explain that. So, yeah, man, I would say as far as answering your question about being in the hole, I wouldn't look at it that way at all. But one thing I will say is that the people that are waiting for interest rates to drop like crazy to get back down to 3 to 5%, whatever the case may be.
That's what I was about to ask you about the interest rates, man.
That is
because I deal with it every day too.
Right.
You know, people that haven't bought cars in a while, they're so used to 199s, 299s, 399s. They come here and I get them approved. They see a 699, 799, 899, and they're 750 credit scores and up. They're like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah.
And I tell them, like, "Listen, it's nothing against you. You know, it's not me. It's not the dealership giving you a higher interest rate on purpose.
Right.
If you want to blame anybody, you better blame the Federal Reserve because they are the ones that control the rates, especially when it comes to, they control everything.
Exactly.
Federal Reserve controls everything. They're trying to, so the whole point of raising interest rates, just a quick heads up if you're not familiar with what's going on and why the interest rates are high. The whole point of raising interest rates is to cool down inflation. Everyone can see how inflation has been killing the American economy this past year. I will say COVID year, amazing year selling. Amazing. I don't think I haven't made that much money in my life other than during COVID. It was the easiest thing to do, bro.
Yeah.
Really, I would come into work, hit up a couple leads. All right, this is the only car I have right now. It's missing this option, but it's the car that you want. Not even asking questions. We're coming to get it right now.
Wow.
Because at that time during COVID, there was also a car shortage, which also drive pre-owned cars up insane amount percentage wise. And then what's crazier is at the time during COVID, if you did trade in a car, you were pretty much getting what you paid for it at the beginning of what you bought it for.
Really?
Yeah.
So everybody was just swapping.
Everybody was just swapping. But at the same time, they were also buying these cars. And these cars at this time were very, very inflated. So I now have some repeat clients trying to get out of their cars. Mm-hmm. But the cars' prices have corrected. And unfortunately, cars are not investments. Cars are not investments. They are more than anything liabilities than they are machines. All right, that's the true concept of it. You're not going to make money off your car. The only way you're going to make money off your car is if you have a G-Wagon. If you have a G-Wagon, if you have like a Lamborghini, it depends on the model though. Mm-hmm. Just anything rare of that sort that people cannot get their hands on right away. I have a client that actually put in an order for a G-Wagon 3.5 years ago. He just got it last week.
What?
Yes, but it was still crazy though. What's crazy is he could literally come back right now to me at the dealership and sell his car back to me
for more than what
he paid for. Okay, because G-Wagons are still in high demand.
Right.
The most expensive G-Wagon I've sold was $275,000 for a G-Wagon. Mind you, this car's sticker price was $180 brand new, $180, $190 brand new. Shout out to the one that bought it. So boy,
man. So what is it? So let me ask you this then: what is it about G-Wagons that make everybody go crazy? Because I see him in person. Like I'm the type I watch reviews on cars that I know I can't afford right now, and I just I watch them try to find out as much as I can about them. But one thing I hear about the G-Wagon is that no matter how tall you are, I just hear it's an uncomfortable ass ride. So would you say
so?
That's
the older
true?
models, 100%, I wouldn't say they were that comfortable.
Okay.
But, on the 19 body style and up, I will say they are overall a way better SUV than what the G-Wagon previously was.
Okay.
So we'll say that. But the main thing with the G-Wagons, man, to be 100% honest with you, it's just a status symbol. It's a great SUV. It's a beautiful car. They drive great. They go off-roading amazing, but personally, I'm not taking a G-Wagon off-roading.
I was about to say.
We're not going to do that, but that's the whole reason on why these cars have that resale value. As you can see, my client waited 3.5 years to get a brand new one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that deep of a wait list in regard to the G63, which is the AMG.
Yeah.
Now, if you're getting a G550, I could probably get you a G550 in a year to 2 years.
But G63 is top of the line, right?
G63 is just the AMG. So with that being said, yeah, you're going to have a more modded engine, and that's pretty much it. The more modded engine. The grill though, the front guard, whatever you call it in the front, on the G63 is just lowered.
Okay.
And then the exhaust on the G63 come from the side.
Okay.
On the G550, the exhaust comes out regular from the back, and the guard is up on top of the lights.
Okay.
So, but people pay for the G63 because it's just a top-of-the-line G-Wagon, and they know in regards to resale, they're going to get the most out of it on a G63.
Yeah, and I feel like, man, if you're in a position where you can afford a G-Wagon, I feel like a lot of time, me personally, I would just get the top-of-the-line model anyway, especially if you're one of those people that's paying for a status symbol. But what were we talking about? Interest rates. So, yeah, so the people, man, one thing I will say is that the people that are so adamant or, you know, they really want to wait for the interest rates to drop back down to 3-5%, whatever the case may be. I personally don't feel like the 3% days, I feel like that's over, right? So you kind of hurting yourself by waiting this long, because the longer you wait, the more people hop off the sidelines. The more people hop off the sidelines, the more sellers are going to take advantage, meaning the higher the prices will go. So when you talk about these situations where it's multiple bid or, you know, multiple offer situations, it's bidding wars, it's everything is 100% over asking. Just think about being a first-time home buyer in that situation. How do you compete with a family moving from California or New York? Because, you know, everybody's moving to Dallas from all over the U.S. How do you compete with those families when, you know, everybody's situation is different, but how do you compete when you've scraped up whatever money and savings that you have to put down on the house, and now that you finally found the house you see, you know, you really want, you got to go against Tammy moving from California paying $50K over asking price. You know what I mean? I'm like, you it's almost best, or not almost best, it's definitely best to try to get in right now where you somewhat get a discount on some of the houses versus waiting it out and waiting for the rates to drop.
So Quentin, can you share some success stories with your recent transactions?
Yes. So the most recent?
The most recent.
I would say, ironically, well, right now I'm under contract on a house right now in Dallas. We should be closing towards the end of the month. But a success story would for sure be the price that we got it for. But I'm not even going to speak on that specific transaction. I'll speak on the one with Tammy, you know, for the most part. So the house that Tammy got into, right, it was listed, I want to say earlier, it was August.
You talking about the one in Bowie or Arlington?
Arlington.
Okay.
I want to say it was listed in like August, September timeframe, or no, I want to say it was July, August timeframe, but it was listed for $425, right? Whenever we came across it, though, it was listed for what, $380, and ended up coming in, or we ended up seeing it in person. You know, at that time, me and Tammy were looking about,
bro, I remember y'all
30, 40 houses
30, 40 houses in a day. I feel like
probably like 2 or 3 days. But at the same time, man, it's like that's what comes with real estate. If that's what your client wants to do,
that's what you got to do.
That's what I'm gonna do, 100%. So to speak on an actual success story, right? I would say we definitely got that house for a steal, considering that the comparables in the area. If you're not too familiar with what comparables is, it's pretty much it's a CMA, right? A comparable market analysis. So you take the homes within a vicinity, obviously the closest the closest size, the closest bedrooms, everything like that. You run the numbers and you'll see what has sold in that region, and then that's how you take those prices, and that's how sellers and, you know, listing agents and everything actually price the home. So based off comps and everything in that area, that home was actually worth, you know, closer to $400. It was listed at $375 or close to $380 at the time because the seller was trying to get rid of it. Me and Tammy ended up seeing it. I was like, you know what? Obviously, as an investor, you always want to offer significantly lower than what the asking price is. So we came in, I want to say we came in at $300, which is way below asking.
Yeah.
The listing agent actually ended up getting back to me. She was like, hey, you know what? Well, my seller, he's sitting, or to even break even, it has to be at $323, which to me personally, that's probably some information that the seller shouldn't have told me, because now we can use that as leverage.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? Well, if I know $323 is what you need to break even, and obviously you got to pay buyer and seller commission on both sides. And I was like, well, maybe closer to like $350 would be ideal. Came in just under came in at $335 just to see what they would say. She came back, was still a no, and I was like, you know what? $350, final offer, last price, offer is good until this amount of time. Came back probably about 20 minutes later, and she was like, well, we accept. So not only did we get
that
the
worked
house, man, for real.
That worked out.
So not only did we get the house for what, if it was originally listed for $425, that's $75,000 off asking, and we were able to close in less than a week due to, you know, the buyer being cash. So I would say that's definitely a big success story. Anytime you can save your clients money and get into a home quick, and it's a home they actually want, and especially you've seen the home with the potential of that home.
Also, it could be a very nice home
in that area.
What a
with all the
perfect
other
like
homes.
honestly, man. If which I know she is, but when she does redo that house, she's gonna make a lot of money off that house.
A lot. And even the neighborhood, man, it's like it's in a prime location in Arlington, all Victorian style homes. Everything is well up kept, and there's no HOA. So,
dude, I fucking hate HOA.
Man, I know you live in the HOA life right now.
Them. I hate my HOA. I mean, I wish I can put a flagpole outside my lawn that says "fuck the HOA."
Because I know HOA is different in every nature.
Bro, I gotta pay $800 a year for my HOA. $800 a year, but they don't do shit.
So what?
Like I don't know what the fuck this HOA is here for. Really, they see one little weed on my that comes outside of my grass, like a little fucking weed that's sprouting out. They try to find me right off the bat. Dude, you know how many times I emailed them, telling them to fuck off?
Word.
Yeah. Well, my neighbor across the street right here, he said that they tried to put a lien on his home because he told them to fuck off.
For real?
Yeah, fuck my HOA.
They tried to put a lien on his home.
Yeah. He said, "Good luck. Try it. Good luck."
Wow.
Yeah, bro. Fuck the HOA. I don't like HOAs.
So they don't. Clearly, they don't pay for the maintenance grounds if they complaining to you about weeds.
I mean, the only thing that I've seen them do, honestly, they mow the grass. Not my grass. They just mow the common area grass, like that's not even owned by anyone, just the community grass, and then they maintain the servicing of the gates. You know, it's a gated community.
But everybody pays $800 a month.
$800 a month.
I mean, a year.
$800 a year for what?
What other restrictions do you have? Because I know there's HOA.
Like people can't even park on the side of the street at my house, or they're gonna get towed if it stays overnight.
Wow.
Yeah, just dumb shit like that. Since when can anyone park on the side of a street of a house?
So what if you have like a family gathering or something?
You just print out guest passes.
Damn.
Yeah, bro.
Wow.
They're trying to make it like that. Like, yeah, it's a beautiful neighborhood. I get it, but come on now, this ain't like, it's not like $1 million, $2 million homes. Right. You know what I mean?
Nah, that's crazy. I didn't even know that. I mean, obviously, I know HOAs. HOAs are all over the place, but I know different areas have different restrictions when it comes to what you can and can't do.
The HOA here is fucking trash. The next house I buy definitely will not have an HOA. I never had a house growing up, so I never knew what the fucking HOA was.
Boy, was doing it big. He saw gated community and was like, yeah,
that's what it was. I saw gated community, bro. I saw the L-shaped driveway. I said, yup, this is the one.
Right. I mean, even you, I know you said you bought peak of COVID. You don't even have to speak on it, but the position you were in, or like the opportunity you got to get into this house,
yeah, it was amazing.
We'll probably never see that again.
No, I'll never see it again.
Fucking 2% interest rates.
2% interest rate.
Come on now,
2%, and mind you, what interest rates are 8% right now, 6 to 8%.
About, just under 7.
Yeah, bro. Like that was. First of all, 2.99 at the time was never even heard of. It's never been like a rate heard of until COVID.
Right.
Which is the crazy part. So, when I heard that off the bat, I'm like, I'm buying a house. Because I know at that point they just wanted to let houses go and they just needed to make some money at that time.
It reminded me of 2008 when I was in 4th grade. I don't know what I was doing, man. I was fucking around. I should have bought a house back then.
And yeah, in 4th grade,
like,
right?
Fuck, man. Damn.
Yeah.
But just
I always think about 2008. Like, damn, if I had the money, what would I have done in 2008?
Man.
Housing crash. That's when the housing market crashed, right? That's when everything crashed. I think.
You would
stocks and everything.
Like, I couldn't imagine. I know my family, like the house we had back home, we bought the house. I said we. My parents bought the house in like 2006. So it was right before all that went down. But I'm like, just imagine being low key. What you did peak COVID is probably the closest thing to 2008, to be honest.
It was the closest thing to 2008.
Yeah. 100%. So you definitely lucked out.
Yeah, I'm thankfully, thank God I'm sitting on a gold mine right now in this house. And I thank God for it every day. Nice. If my life ever takes a U-turn and it goes down the drain, I know that at the end of the day, I have a safety net.
Facts. No, I love that for you though. It's I'm trying to put myself I'm in a position where I want to buy, but we talked before the cameras came on just about what happened. So I'll definitely get right and buy sometime this year.
100%.
I just don't.
Take your time, man. Don't rush something.
That's what I was about to say.
In the car world, I use I use this saying all the time. The two biggest purchases someone is going to do is a house and a car. Mm-hmm. So make sure that you pick the right car, and definitely make sure you pick the right house, especially a house. You're going to be tied down to this house for a long time.
I know.
That's the thing too.
So that's, I mean, while what we talked about, that did kind of like upset me, but at the same time, like I said, if it was the house specifically we were talking about, if it was on market for that long, if it fell through that many times, maybe it just wasn't meant for me. You know what I mean? So,
Hey man, there's always something better.
yeah,
Always something better.
I'll be all right.
You know, God doesn't take something away from you without putting something better in front of you. So just keep that in mind, man.
Come on
keep
now.
that in mind. Hey, you got this, bro. You're gonna get the house. You're gonna get the house. You're gonna get a better house.
Man,
Fuck that house.
I sure been looking
Fuck
for
that
real.
house. You got it, man. I know it's tough now, especially now. Especially now trying to find a house. I know it's tough. It's very competitive. I know it's very hard to find exactly what you're looking for. I know it is.
Yep. And for me, it's like I'm not even a picky person, man. I know a lot of times when people, especially when it's first time home buyers, like I work with first time home buyers, and obviously if you're spending your money, you have every right to feel how you want to feel or, you know, have your thoughts. But one thing I try to preach to people, man, is that your first home is not and should not be your forever home. Like if you're a first time home buyer,
this definitely is gonna be my forever home.
Exactly. But if you're a first time home buyer, you're going out shopping, you're like, oh, well, this doesn't have this and this doesn't have this. Well, okay, to a certain extent, I understand that. But at the same time, your first house, well, 9 times out of 10, it won't be perfect. And that's due to the fact that your budget is probably not where it's going to be once you have a wife and kids or husband and kids, whatever you want to call it. But so I say that to say I'm not even that picky when it comes to me getting in the house. I just know I want to be in the area. I want to be in the area that's upcoming, you know, up and coming, and, you know, that has potential versus just jumping into any type of house or some new construction house in the area that's being gentrified or transitional. My bad. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Everyone wants to get in a position on a house to where eventually they can make some money out of it. So I can definitely see your standpoint on that.
Exactly.
Who the hell is going to get into a house and try not to make money off the house?
Facts.
You know what I mean?
And with me being a realtor, I feel like I have the advantage of having a little bit more, you know, insight as to what decision I should make or what areas I would want to go to.
So can you say, which I'm sure you're gonna say 100%, but from when you first started till now, from when you first started till now, right? Based on everything that you've seen in the real estate market. Confidence level. Are you way more confident now explaining somebody homes and how things go than when you first started?
Man, what? 100%.
Yeah.
And like, I'm the type of person, no matter if I know the information or not, I still try to, you know, display that confidence. But at the end of the day, man, it's like in real estate, no matter how much, I don't want to say the BS word, but no matter how confident you are, it's always important to make sure you actually know the information, because you're playing with somebody's, you know, you can't just play with somebody's money like that. It's somebody trying to buy a house. So I would say from when I started to now, 110%.
You're going on close to 2 years now of being a realtor, correct?
Yeah, September or October, it'll be 2 years.
So anyone that's coming into your career field trying to be a realtor, real estate agent, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to, one, have, a lot of people say 6 months. I would say have a year worth of savings for all your bills. Have a year worth of savings saved up. So like I said, I started in October. I didn't get my first paycheck until like February.
Yeah.
And that paycheck was like $1,000 from some apartment that I did. You know what I mean? So first and foremost, savings, especially if you have a family, everything. Make sure that you have at least a year worth of savings to where you could take care of anybody or, you know, the family in case things went down. And then number two, I would say try your, I mean, I know I said you don't really know what you're getting into until you actually start real estate, but I would say really be prepared for the unknown, essentially, because it's going to be a lot of times you get rejected, a lot of people to say no. It's going to be a lot of friends that you have that be like, yeah, man, I'm going to do this and that. And they'll come to you, ask all the information, and they'll turn around and buy a house with somebody else. So just be prepared for it, man.
I mean, I have friends that bought cars from different people before too, and it's funny, they bought a Mercedes from somebody else.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was like a slap in the face.
You see what I mean?
No, I see what you mean. Bro.
So I would say just it's the inevitable, man. Just be prepared for things like that to happen, because it's not if, it's when. It's when it happens. And then, well, that's two. And then three, I would say you have to be resilient. And that's something we talked about earlier as far as being in the military, and that's one thing I'm forever grateful for, is that it taught me how to actually be resilient. It taught me, okay, well, things didn't go your way. You might get knocked down 10, 11, 12 times, but on that last time, if you don't get up, that could be the biggest opportunity that you've been presented with. You know what I mean? So always be resilient. Always be resilient. Always be willing to push and keep going when things get tough. And if you're not willing to do that, then I feel like you might want to consider different options.
Did you have a mentor at all during all this?
No,
or
and that's one thing I'm still looking for right now. I know my mom has one of her really good friends has been a realtor. At one point she was in Texas, but she's back up in St. Louis, been doing it for a long time. So I know if I ever have any questions, I can definitely go to her for it. But other than that, man, I'm not the type to watch TV shows and everything. I'm on
either,
YouTube
dude.
University. So
Yeah.
if it's something I don't know how to do, if it's something I feel like I need to figure out, I'll get on YouTube, try to figure it out. And obviously, my brokerage, we have support staff, so I'll try to ask them. But for the most part, I'm not the type of person to, if I can figure out on my own, I'm not going to ask questions.
That's how I am, dude. I try to figure everything on my own.
Yeah.
I don't ask anybody for help for nothing.
Because the way I look at it is, okay, if this person wasn't here, then how the hell would I figure it out?
It's not even that, dude. It's just growing up, bro. I've been shitted on so many fucking times in my life. Just shit on and spat on and shit on. It just comes to the point where it's like, I don't need anybody.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's how I see things. But honestly,
I respect it.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's cool to have somebody that you can go back to talk to, especially when it comes to your career and all that.
Yeah.
But I guess that's my thing is just choose them wisely, man. Choose them wisely. Because some people will take that and they will use it against you. You know what I mean? That's the thing. And it takes me a while to trust a lot of people. Like, I don't trust a lot of people. Like, I have a very small group of friends, and the majority of them are my cousins.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's just tough, man. It's just tough. But
no, I mean,
everyone's been telling me, hey, man, you need to find a mentor. You need to find a mentor. And I'm just like, where the fuck do I find this mentor?
You see, and that's what I'm saying. Everybody says to find a mentor, but it's like when it comes down to finding a mentor, you can go online and find Andy Elliott or the best car salesman.
Yeah,
the best car salesman ever.
He's a great sales coach.
Yeah, but
he does pump you up. He does.
Yeah,
pump you up,
for real.
Man.
Yeah, but so it's like you can go out and find somebody like that, but if you try to reach out to a person that's online and you don't really have any type of real connection with them, then it's like
they're not gonna give a fuck.
Will it work? Exactly, because to them it's just you another monthly subscription or something. I feel like finding a mentor is finding somebody that you can actually, you don't even necessarily have to relate to. Somebody that you get along with, somebody that you can bounce back and forth off of, somebody you trust most importantly, and then somebody that's actually doing well in the industry that you're in. So for me, I'm actually still looking for a mentor right now. I feel like there's been different programs within. Well, I don't want to say too much about that, but yeah, I'm still looking for a mentor.
I saw you do a call. You were in a. I saw you posted something on your Instagram. You were like part of a column or.
Oh yeah, a panel.
A panel.
Yeah. So for my brokerage, we every Tuesday and sometimes Thursday they'll do like training and everything, right? Bunch of different topics every single Tuesday or Thursday. But specifically for this Tuesday, we did something called, or everything is super interactive there. So that's what I really like about my brokerage. But we did something called What Would I Tell New Agent Me? Okay. And for some reason, or not for some reason, they hit me up to be on the panel. They're like, hey, we like what you've been doing lately. You've been doing XYZ and all this stuff. We would like for you to come on. So it was me, 4 other agents, and one of the agents has been doing it for way longer than I have. But at the end of the day, it's like we had the opportunity to go there and then talk to other agents that some knew or some, if they wanted to come in for training that day, and they were able to sit in and listen. But for the most part, we just talked about what we would do going back to being a brand new realtor. And it's weird because to a certain extent, I still feel like a brand new realtor, even though I know I'm not like brand new, because you never stop learning in sales, obviously. But to a certain extent, I still feel like I'm brand new. But for them to even acknowledge and see that, I've built enough success to be, eligible to hop on a panel like this and actually talk to other agents about what I would do starting off.
That's a reflection of you,
that's
man.
big.
That's a reflection of you. So it shows that you're actually putting in the work and you're doing what you need to do. So very, very, big respects to you, man. I actually wanted to be a realtor too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I have Aceable Agent. It's that online school.
Oh, that's what I went through. Aceable
bro, here's
Agent.
the thing though. Here's the thing with me. If it's online, I'm not learning shit.
Yeah.
I actually have to be in. I'm the type of person that needs to be in class to learn something. Like I do my college online, right? Did I learn anything? Maybe.
Did you get a degree?
About to.
That's all that mattered then.
I should graduate, hopefully. Excuse me. I should graduate either in May or August this year.
Of this year? Yeah, love to hear it.
August of this year.
But no, that's funny you bring up Aceable Agent too, man, because I started Aceable Agent. I got out. My terminal started June of 2022, and I was still in Germany. I started Aceable Agent in April. So every night, got home from work. We working 12s. Get home from work. Get on Aceable Agent, just do whatever. And then you have to, for real estate, there's 6 different courses that you have to pass. So 6 individual modules I passed, and you have to take a proctor test after each one. And then you come to Texas and you take the state and national exam in person. Once I came down here, took the state and national tests. And then once you get licensed, everything you just learn goes out the window and you start from scratch.
Well, the thing is, when it comes to tests and all that, you're not really going to learn until you're actually hands-on.
Exactly.
Hands-on training is the best training you're going to get in regards to any career field.
Facts.
You can read about it all you want to, You can read everything. You can be the most book smart person about that career field. But when you get to the actual career and you start doing what you want to, you start trying to do it, you're like, damn, what the fuck am I doing?
Yep.
And that's the main thing. I mean, everything is going to just come down to pretty much hands-on training.
Facts. But no, that's really how it went, man. So I would say my first, like I said, October is when I started. But like my brokerage, we have this app called Trainyo. And on Trainyo, or Trainyo is a real app, but we have all of our stuff on Trainyo to where every single thing that's recorded is always on there. It's live. A bunch of other information. You can just go in and any question you might have, it could be answered on there. So my first month, man, I was locked in on Trainyo. I was like, I need to know this. I need to know that. I need to know this. And I'm talking to people in my brokerage. They're like, yo, like, you just got to go out there because what's the point of knowing and having all this information if you have nobody to share it with, if you have nobody to use it on? You know what I mean? So 100%, that's right. You got to go out there and you got to get your feet wet regardless of what information you try to digest.
Well, Quentin, I do appreciate you stopping by tonight. I know you have a busy schedule, so I really do appreciate your time. We are going to cut the podcast here. I am going to leave his social media tags for you guys. If you do want to reach out to him about any questions or even trying to find a house, he is the guy to hit up, and he will definitely put in the work, and he will get you what you want. He's a great guy, too. So if you're looking for a mentor, if you're young and you're starting the real estate market or if you're starting the real estate industry, you need to talk to somebody. He will not hesitate to talk to you. So let them know, man.
Definitely, man. I appreciate you. And like I said, it's been a long time coming, so I'm glad we got this out the way. It's been a good conversations with Mo. And, yeah, like you said, if anybody's moving to the DFW area or anywhere in Texas, I work 7 days a week. I like to take care of the people I take care of. So looking forward to working with y'all.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Sir, thank you.